What have we done to offend Omid Scobie? Now, I did ask Scobie, the confidant and de facto propagandist for Meghan Markle, her voice to the world, to come talk about his latest book called Endgame. It's another dump on the royal family and how they were all so mean to poor old Meghan Markle, the poor grifter. Well, I have a message now from Scobie, from his publicist. He will not appear on Sky News Australia under any circumstances. Why, he didn't exactly say, but I don't think he needs to. I think he realises that we see through him. He, to me, is a parasite on the parasite of the royal family's hide. Joining me from London is writer and commentator and broadcaster Esther Krakue. Esther, you're not my fallback position. You are my main person here. But what would I have missed from interviewing Omid Scobie? What blood-sucking revelations are in his book?
Well, I don't think we can call them revelations, because I think we should take anything that comes out of the heavily surgically enhanced Omid Scobie's mouth with a grain of salt. He knows that the royal family effectively don't have a right to reply, so he can say whatever he wants. I do think it's a bit strange, though, because Harry and Meghan have repeatedly allegedly said that they want to distance themselves from the soap opera drama that is the royal family. And yet they've allowed Omid Scobie to release this unofficial autobiography of what actually went on in the royal family between the Sussexes and the royal family, which is a bit strange. I mean, he hasn't said anything incredibly revolutionary. He's talked about, apparently there was not just one member of the royal family that questioned the skin color of Harry and Meghan's child, but two. And I found it a bit strange, because I just thought, if you've ever been around a black family, you know that they will speculate with impunity about the color of your child's skin if you have a child with someone who's not of your race. It's perfectly normal and common. I don't think it's racist. I mean, Meghan Markle's mother was in an interracial relationship. Would her family members have been called racist if they speculated about what Meghan Markle would have looked like? So these are the kinds of things that are coming out of his gutter book. He's not shied away from the fact that it's being released tomorrow, so he's definitely upping the promo there. But trust me, you haven't missed anything by not interviewing Omid Scobie.
Now, before I get onto politics, one more question that fascinates me. The wife of French President Emmanuel Macron, Brigitte, very unusual for her. Now, it's spoken of when she fell in love with her husband. Now, she was 40 at the time, married, and a teacher. He was just 15 and her student, right, 25-year gap. Now, in Australia, she would risk jail time, to be honest, but she says, oh, well, my head was in a mess. For me, such a young boy was crippling, so it's all about her. She was in a terrible mess and blah, blah. Well, should it matter now, Esther, that years down the track, and they seem happily married, obsessively, apparently, I read the other day that they barely go 90 minutes of a day without talking to each other, that a woman of 40 had a relationship with a 15-year-old student?
I mean, it should matter, because we know what would happen if the roles were reversed, or more accurately, if the genders were reversed. If you had a 40-year-old man married with 3 children falling for his student and a classmate of one of his children who's the age of 15, you know the media speculation around that would be terrible. We know that the age of consent in France is actually 15, so she's been very fortunate, or should I say lucky, in that regard. But it's just creepy, it's strange, and we obviously know that there are double standards going on here. I will say, though, that the French have a very interesting relationship when it comes to their leaders and their personal lives. I seem to remember
Correct.
the funeral of François Mitterrand, former president, whose wife and mistress were both at his funeral. So this is not anything new in French politics.
No, that's true. We must allow for cultural differences here. We're broad-minded. Now, Esther, the politics side of things. In Australia, we have had more than 500,000 immigrants come in a single year, 540,000 to be precise. And the government's thinking, well, it's no big deal, 540. In Britain, which is more than twice our size of population, you've had 740 immigrants. That's only 200,000 more than us. But there, that is a political scandal. What has been the reaction?
I mean, the reaction is just, obviously one of disappointments. The Tories have quite clearly failed. They actually had to adjust expectations of immigration because they had it down to around 600,000. So they've had well over 150,000 more people. That's about the size of, half of Birmingham coming into the country every year, which is scandalous. I mean, under the 13 years of a Labour government, you had 3.5 million people allowed into this country, and that was seen as, completely shocking. And you've seen, just under half of that number in the space of 2 years. So it's completely ridiculous. Now, we have to recognize the fact that over half of these people that are coming over are dependents. So for people saying that we need these people, some of whom happen to be florists, I kid you not, we need them because our economy depends on them. Or actually, are they sucking up more out of our system than they're adding to it? Because they have dependents who rely on our NHS and our education system and public infrastructure, which is just not keeping up with this demand. And we know that big business likes mass migration because it has a downward effect on wages. So clearly people are not buying the lie that we need this kind of migration, especially at this level. It's completely unsustainable.
Well, we have the same, tricks played here. We need to have immigrants come in, be skilled labour to build all the infrastructure we need because of all the immigrants coming in. Plus, we also need people to wipe bottoms in aged care homes. Can you imagine what that does? We just need unskilled people prepared to wipe backsides. I mean, it's ridiculous. But around Europe, immigration's become huge. You've had the Dutch election last week, fought an anti-immigration party, the biggest party to come out ahead, Geert Wilders. France, it's big. Sweden, it's big. Germany, it's big. How much do you think all this is due to the protests now out of Palestine? People looking at these protests thinking, whoa, let's close the gates.
The thing is, well, people can see when the standard of their lives and the quality of their lives are rapidly changing because of declining public services. They don't have to be blind to know that if I, for instance, have a better chance of playing for Manchester United than seeing my GP, something is quite clearly wrong. And you can only pull the wool over people's eyes for so long. So they're just recognizing that clearly we're not buying the lie. I mean, I worked as a care worker, actually, and all the people that I worked with, I think only like sort of 1 in 5 were actually British. And I just thought, I don't have a problem with this, but clearly this is not sustainable.
No, it is not. Esther Krakue, always great to see you. This is sustainable. Your appearance is here. Thank you so much indeed for your time.